signed another client. I wanted to tell you guys. Episode 26, Tea with Maja, Tuesday morning. And I signed a client yesterday. Boom, that's 2 clients now with my new PT job. I'm very excited. It has been exciting to get back on the gym floor and in different phase of my life. It's been really fun actually to chat with some of my girlfriends about and just, remind myself how far I've come. I think you can, what's that saying? You never rise to the level of your expectations, you fall to the level of your training. And it was always one of my other favorite quotes from Tim Ferriss. I don't know if it was his originally or if he took it from somewhere else. And it's like when you feel like you've been healing or you've, learned enough, go spend a week with your family. And it's like that puts it to the stress test, especially with people in your life that have known you from birth that won't let you forget anything. I don't know about you guys. I'd love to hear how many siblings you have. I'm one of 4. 3 girls, 1 boy. I'm the middle child, second child. So the 3 of us are up here, all 2 years apart, 36, 34, 32. And then little Broseph, I say little, not so little. He's 6'2", 3. Broseph. He is 26. So he was down there on the end. Yeah. Learning and transformation and doing the thing. It's such an odd process. And it's funny getting back into the gym setting as well, because I was lucky enough when I had to come off the gym floor for my spine surgery, building the marketing agency. We stayed within the health and wellness industry. That was where the majority of our connections were, and that was also where the majority of people didn't really do much of their marketing. It helps when you're in one of those eternal markets and everybody's, health, finance, and relationships. Everybody's always going to be looking for those types of products and services regardless, especially when it comes to fitness. Fitness is never complete. And it's just been really nice to jump back in, 5 years post-surgery now. I think I've 6, 7, that must be 7 years off the gym floor. It's definitely a whole new me stepping onto there. And it's just, it's nice, but it's also good practice. I think I've said it before, but something with the online stuff, I mean, nothing beats in person. I'm definitely one of those people that will be wanting to put on retreats, gatherings, experiences, like hosting in-person events, because the experience is just next level. Like you can't beat that type of mastermind or few days or convention. I mean, I saw it too often, especially with those trade shows and those conventions and just the network and the people that you meet and the things that you do. And I went to a couple of business conferences in Hong Kong here, and it just puts you into an entirely different state, especially when you're in a room filled with other people and you're realizing that you're not the only one. And I definitely think that's a big piece of the puzzle with this game. One is finding friends, like building your F1 crew, like my good friend calls it, is paramount, because it's going to be hard enough to deal with trolls and people misunderstanding and God knows what else. But your core group of people is the opinions that should matter. And those are the people that should be rooting for you and rooting for you to go out and play the fool and look a bit silly and supporting you to just do the brave thing and push through these different barriers. They're the ones that are going, just go for it, just do it. And I remember at one point realizing like I was putting more excuses on myself, or I had allowed a handful of other people that were in my brain stop me from doing more of this, getting more in front of camera, getting more comfortable just talking and riffing off the cuff. And I had to remind myself, I was like, hang on a minute. I was like, my husband supports me. My best friend supports me. My close friends around me support me. Why? Why am I allowing anybody else's voice or anybody else's input, especially when those are the people whose lives I do not want? Slash, have removed myself from their lives because it was too opposite. It was too opposite, and not in a way that, well, we could find a happy medium. And I think that's something that as well I've had to come to terms with when you start building these things and you start wanting to go into service of others, and you start to genuinely feel like you can help everybody or solve everything. And it's this odd, like, ego shift that puts you back into this weirdness of, oh, now I'm the one that has to save everybody and only I can do it. And then there's this weird pressure of, oh, how important am I? And it's like, how about you just go help a handful of people first and make sure that you enjoy it and make sure that it doesn't kill you and make sure that you enjoy the people that you're helping and the work that you're doing, and then go do it again for more people. Like I think I got a master's degree in overthinking and overcomplicating situations. It really is simple, and it's annoying. Like, I knew how simple it was a long time ago, and I still somehow managed to distrust the simplicity. And it has been by sheer brute force and putting myself in these situations where I cannot go back and I cannot not back myself. I think that's something I've been very good at doing, considering I have struggled to force myself to just go after money as a goal. I've made sure that I just keep putting myself in different rooms whereby my beliefs start to change, where now I've got to a point where I know my values, I know more of my own opinions that I can stand in, and I'm also okay with not having an opinion on everything. I know what I see that I want to bring into this world. I know the people that I see that I want to help. I know the types of people that I enjoy building with. And I'm okay for that to take its own route now. It's more about getting out the way of allowing myself to just enjoy that bit and have fun, but then also make sure that I'm not stressing in survival mode about rent and, the little things. I got jasmine tea today. It's very nice. It's refreshing. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Oh yeah, you will. It's almost like shading on my tattoo. Look at that bruise. My husband bought a... no, you're not going to be able to see it. That's what it is. My husband bought a compound bow, and so we've been practicing archery on the rooftop in preparation for moving to South Africa. It's been so much fun. But I did the other day, I pulled it back and I hyperextended my arm because I was being really strong, and I went doof, and it just went and I went, oh, just... You learn fast when when that's the result of the mistake. And I think that's the thing, right? Like, I learned that very on about building the personal brand. If you only talk from your direct experience and your ruminations on that experience from your perspective, you can't be wrong. Because nobody knows. Like, nobody knows. Nobody can sit in your seat. So again, as long as I think we've also taken marketing way too far, where we feel like we have to be putting all this, it's almost like everybody's one-upping each other with how outlandish you can make the claims or make the results or make the transformation, that it's just got to the point where it's like, oh, I will make you $10 million and you can lose 10 kilos within 7 days. And it's like the math doesn't math sometimes. Like, we've out-mathed the lies. And I think that's also where so many people have become a bit dubious about everything. And where actually, if you can sit back for a minute, take yourself out of that game and literally just come back to the truth. What is true? What are you doing? What have you done? What are the pieces and the patterns that you're seeing that you can overlay as a lesson for others from your story, from your life, from your perspective? Because again, these aren't new things. They're not novel, but it can be uniquely yours because only you can have your perspective, and only you have the combination that makes up you. There's no other person that has that combination. We can have a same, but different. People growing up in a similar neighborhood with similar, family sizes and all this other stuff, but they will never have the same experience. None of us will ever have the same experience. None of us will ever be able to see life from another's perspective objectively in that way. And I've always loved that exercise in and of myself, to just put myself in the shoes of somebody else, but not just put myself in the shoes of, fully sit in it and imagine what they would be seeing, what they would be feeling, what they would be doing from different perspectives. I mean, I remember doing this at school. I don't know if anybody's done this, or I didn't even think this was odd at the time, but almost like projecting myself into different parts of the room and looking at it from that viewpoint. I wonder if this was because I loved movies so much. So it was like me trying to figure out different camera angles. I always loved that when I watched movies. At any given point in a scene, I'd be like, oh my gosh, we're so immersed in this scene. But if you take 5 steps back, there's just a set with camera crew and everybody on it. Like we're not there. This is being filmed. And so it was always that like zoom out. I remember our high school had a little cafe in the lobby, and there was a little upstairs walkway into one of the stairwells and into the canteens. And me and my girlfriends used to sit on the 4-seater chairs down there. And I used to often imagine, while we were sat together, what it would look like looking down at the 4 of us as we were sat on that table from the balcony. Yeah, I'm normal. I remember in my primary school going into the playground. I must have been in year 6. So what, you're like 10 years old? 9 years old? 10 years old? And I used to just look up at the school and look up at all the different levels. Like, it was quite incredible. Hong Kong schools versus, say, like in the UK or the States, they're not as wide, the campuses. The buildings are up, right? So we have like a 6-story, 8-story school that you're going up and down in these levels, and the playgrounds are all stacked in these different, almost like Tetris levels amongst the school. It's incredible architecture when you really think about it. But I remember just looking up at all the buildings and standing in the playground, and all I'm picturing is the fact that that wasn't there at one point, and that at one point somebody had to put it there. Concrete had to be brought in. That railing had to be brought in. Somebody had to put the wire in the wall and add the socket. Somebody had to paint the wall. Like, it all just deconstructed around me, and it just, yeah, I don't know. I always saw things in that. It's almost like in those movies where they rewind the time and like the whole city is just, and it's like you watch it being built, like a fast forward Legoland or something. So I always think about, how much goes into a moment, how much goes into this happening for then, this to go out, for then somebody to see this message at the right breadcrumbs. Like, I don't know, it's very interesting. And now we've gone on a little bit of a tangent. Let me have a sip of my tea and see if we can come back to it. Don't throw up in here. I'm going to put you outside. Go on, outside, go. Lincoln brought him back from our little walk, and sometimes no, you stay outside. Sometimes he goes around the corner and finds little things to snack on, and then decides when we get home it's a good time to throw up inside the house. Yay. So no, you stay outside. Now he's staring at me. So many layers, so many layers, so many things, so much pressure, so many mind games. It's odd. I definitely feel like that 3 core pillars, though: the mind, movement, media, your mental health, your physical health, and your soul health with what you're creating. Don't just stare at me like this. Come here. Come here. Come say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. There he is. Okay, go. You can just chill now. Okay, you can sit there. But yeah, it's not, I've taken balance out of the equation now. It's not about finding balance. I really loved that insight about the no longer pushing. That felt like another massive unlock internally that just made that inner calm more solidified. So I don't know about you guys or where you're at in your journey or how far you've gone back into yourself, but finding that inner calm that runs through your core. It took me about a good year and a half, 2 years to find that again after I'd done what I did to myself in the agency. So you've got to be patient. This is where the meditation side of everything comes in. This is where the getting quiet and just being silent and getting off the devices and getting off the things. And it's the most weird thing to watch yourself glitch out of when you start doing it, because you realize how poorly you've been trained, or you've allowed yourself to be trained by these devices. I mean, I even remember the first few months, and it's that phantom pick up your phone for no damn reason. Like, why? Put it down. Put it in another room when you're not using it. Find the blocks of time where you don't need to be on call all the time, and you shouldn't be. You know, I think the most successful people I look up to, or the ones that I aspire to build into, they protect their time. I think there's this really odd thing that we did in society. It was that almost that like the customer is always right and we're available 24/7. And I understand with the tools and the tech, things have picked up where, you know, you can respond at any given time. And I know when we were working at the agency, especially sending leads to gyms, like it would be the difference of who replied faster as to who would get the business. So yes, you want to make sure that you have a very quick turnaround time when it comes to customer service, especially if you're in the nature of a business where people might be looking around for different quotes. They will go and first look at the first person that sends them a message back. If they then go through that whole process and they've made that decision, you've then missed out on a sale in that sense. But that's what the sales team is for. That's what you then train and you make sure that the tools are doing what they need to be doing on that side. You as an owner don't need to then be always fucking available all the time. It was such a nasty habit we got into with our clients when we were running the agency. It was just being available the whole time. That was when I started just getting these little pangs of panic attacks, and it was my own doing. Because the clients are going to ask. Of course they're going to ask. They don't know. They're probably not even expecting a response immediately. They're probably like, oh, this person's responsive, that's great. And then on the other side, you can be sitting there going, fucking high maintenance clients, and starting to get all down about the behavior of this client, and all it would have taken was to just respond the following day or respond a couple of hours later. Like, I started to have to treat my WhatsApp like emails, where it's like, I just don't look at my phone. I just don't look at my messages until a certain point in the day. I put my phone away. It's not like, I was so excited when I managed to get to the point where I didn't need an alarm to wake me up. Phone away. Didn't even have to sleep with it. Didn't even have to look at it first thing. It didn't matter, because I knew that if I went to bed around 10, I'd be waking up 7:30, because I caught up on the sleep that I needed, and I had things in my day that I wanted to do and wanted to build. So I was awake and I had energy and I was pulled in that direction. This push-pull thing is there's something to it. It was that same feeling of the with the attachment thing, and the thought that, well, if you're fully detached, you'll go numb. No. If you're fully detached, you can enjoy it for what it is. That thing about us causing our own suffering with the expectations versus the reality, and the discrepancy there being what we can't let go of. Perspective is everything, man. Perspective is everything. Everything. And I think on that note, I will leave you guys to your Tuesday. I'll see you tomorrow.